What's up, everybody? KSA Kris here, Real Estate Blitz. I got two more videos. I was going to just do one more, and I sat down and started looking at something, and I'm actually mostly doing this video for my neighbor, the guy that's right next door. He came over and asked me some questions, and it's been a while since I really went deep into some investor stuff. We're going to be going into this market. So I think if you aren't already like just consuming as much as you can, whether through bigger pockets, podcasts, whatever, look, we're going into a down market, which is going to put us into a stable market, which will bring us eventually into a upward market. That's all good stuff. That's all good stuff. Now, what that means, the more information and knowledge you have, the more opportunities you're going to get and maximizing what you got. So I give a quick rundown of what I know from his question that he came in and asked me this morning. He says, okay, so I got this lady, she's looking to sell her property after some renovations, right? So the ARV is going to be about $1.2 million. That's fantastic. And you know, what's the rehab? Well, estimated cost for rehab, because he already had a contract to go and look at, it's $45,000. Okay, well, what's the question? It says, well, I'm wondering how, because she doesn't have any money, I'm wondering how I can help her take care of this, get the $45,000 either from myself or somebody else, and then get that money at close of escrow plus, maybe 10% on that money, which is just a private money loan or hard money loan or whatever it might be, right? And then kind of go from there. I says, okay, well, before we even get started, let's just treat this like a potential investor deal. What is it worth in its as-is condition? So I'm going to start giving you these numbers. So this is what you need to start writing down. Write this down. As-is condition, $750,000. It's what it's in its as-is condition right now. Its ARV, so after repair value, is $1.2 million. $1.2 million. It's after rehab. Okay. And the cost for rehab, because he's already had a contract to come in, the hard cost right now is $45,000. So let's start talking about this. If you walk, well, I'm going to tell you my personal opinions, which is I've already told him this once before, and he's doing this. If I'm going to work with a client, and I've just done this in the past, and it's screwed me in the past, which is why I don't do it anymore. So if I start working with a client and I go in, I'm like, holy crap. So this is how I do my commission split. If we're sitting down and we're talking about commission with anybody, or if I'm training one of our agents on what to charge for commission, because some people are like, I need you to do it for 1%. And then you have other agents like, well, I'll never touch anything unless I'm getting a full 3%. I look at it like this, and the way we teach our team is time and energy. How much time is it going to take me? How much energy is involved? And also, what's my investment, right? You're going to have to invest some money into any listing that you get, and that's okay. But if the energy is high, for me personally, when I'm working with an agent, I'm like, man, this person is this, and this is what's going on. They're going through divorce. He's a real prick, etc. I'm going to tell you, I used to work for this dude at a tattoo shop down in El Cajon for the older people that ever lived in El Cajon in the 90s. There used to be a joint down there called on El Cajon Boulevard. It was called Tat Ruse. I used to work there. If you ever walked in there, I was guys sitting there doing sketches, saying hi as people came in the doors, and I did piercings. I started trying to learn how to tattoo, but this is the big thing. As people are coming in and I'm scheduling the main tattoo artist or any of the tattoo artists for anything, I had basically said, hey, for this size, it's going to cost this much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the dude that owned the joint, Rudy, he would sit there and say, look, and at that time, I think it was barbed wire tattoos and butterfly tattoos were like all the rage. It's like if somebody comes in with a butterfly tattoo, charge twice as much, double it. I'm like, well, okay, well, why is that? He's like, because I don't want to do a butterfly. It's not creative to me. I don't want to do any butterflies. But if they're going to pay me twice as much as I would normally charge, I will absolutely do it a butterfly, because that extra money tastes like a cheeseburger and I'm hungry, right? So I view it the same way. If somebody's going to be a lot of energy, and I just am not connecting with them, and I know it's just going to be a pain in my butt, I'm going to charge them more money. So this type of situation, if I'm a real estate agent and somebody presents it to me, okay, so let me get this right. I need to get a contractor lined up for you. You have to get out of the house. Typically, this is going to be due to age, and sure enough, this is what it was. It's an age situation. Has to move. I have to line up a contractor because they're not doing it. We got to figure out where we're going to get money from. We got to ensure that it's going to get renovated to the specs because I'm going to sit down and do all this extra work to figure out, what is the standard, so I can get to the $1.2 million, because there's a huge difference between $750,000 and $1.2 million. It just is. And it says a lot. That means the house is in pretty rough shape. So if I'm going to be managing all this, I don't want to work for free. So even if I'm charging the full 6%, which is really 3% to me at the 1.2, is it really worth that? Is it really worth that energy? To me, the answer is no. So the going rate in Southern California and a lot of places is roughly 5%. So he says, well, I already told her I'm going to charge her 7%. I think that's great. I think that's good. I think that's a smart move. I think I wrote it down here earlier. At 7%, if he was going to do that at 1.2, it's pretty good commission. It's pretty good commission. Oh man, my phone is, I don't know if you guys can hear this, my phone just keeps blowing up. But let's get back to the investor side. Now, as we were talking about, this case, let me get this right. You're looking to help this person out. You're even looking at maybe touching your personal funds, maybe helping them with the renovations, or even having the contractor, which I have contractors that say, hey, we'll loan the money. We're going to get paid at close of escrow. Plus, they typically will take 10%. So however that works out, it's going to work out. I said, have you looked at all the angles? Let's talk about this. She has to get out, like, how soon? He says, like, right now. We're trying to figure out how to get her out right now, because especially this rehab is going to be a lot. And I said, okay, does she need the $1.1 million? He says, well, I don't think so. She just needs to be out. I said, well, let's look at all the angles then. So if I know the ARV is $1.2 million, $1.2 million, it's as is to ARV, the spread, if you will, is roughly $450,000. There's a $450,000 spread. That means less repairs. There's $405,000 gross profit out there for somebody. Could be for her, could be for somebody else. So this is a smoke and investor deal. So because if you did it at, let's say, 60% of ARV, 60% of ARV, if you don't understand what I'm saying right now, I'll go back and watch some of my other, I'll explain it briefly, but go back and watch some of my other videos. So what that's saying is 60 cents on the dollar. If I was going to purchase the home at 60 cents on the dollar from its ARV, that means after repair value, that's roughly $720,000 as 60% of ARV. Right now, keep in mind, it's as is condition right now is worth $750,000. Now imagine if I'm the real estate agent and I let them know I am a real estate agent, I see your situation, but what if I told you, look, if I put it on the market and it's as is condition, okay, let's say there's only 8% in closing costs coming off there between commission, title, escrow, etc., right? You're looking at, that's $60,000 in closing costs, potential closing costs or more. So $750,000, potential of a minimum of $60,000 in closing costs. That leaves you at a possible net of $690,000. But what if I said, I can do better than that? I can't pay you, because I've had people do this. Well, you pay me $750 and we're good. Then I'll just put it on the market and I'll buy it on the market. Or somebody else will buy it on the market, but you're still going to net less than if you let me buy it. So you're going to make an extra $30,000 if I just buy it, no real estate, I'll take it as is conditions, no inspections, and I can close in 10 days. I'll close the house in 10 days and then you can be gone. You can leave your trash in the house. I don't care, right? So I'm going to pick it up, $720,000, and then I'm going to put in the rehab costs, things like that. Now, this is what I try to explain to people all the time. If you have a deal, you can find the money. If you have a deal, you can find the money. So if you want to renovate this property yourself, and you already have a contractor who's already told you how much, and you already have days, even if the market starts to dump. Okay, so let's say it takes them 2 months to renovate this home. Well, I just lost $100,000. Well, remember, I just told you there's a $450,000 spread from its as-is condition price. If I bought it at $720, I still got even a little more. So we're good. If we lose $100,000, we still got $350,000, $60,000, $70,000 that we can play with. That ain't bad. That's not bad. Now, let's say you want to get weirder about it. Let's say you don't want to do that, but you want to basically, because you can wholesale it. You can wholesale it. So you say, look, I'll go ahead and pick this up. I'm going to get you closed out in 10 days because you need to be gone right now. You don't want to wait for 30 to 60 days, right? I'm going to hook you up right now. Well, this is what we're going to do. If you still, I told you, 720,000, I can put it out there. Well, if I know that to be true, but if I did 0.6, so again, 60, so that's 0.6. 0.6 is still a hell of a spread from its as is value. So here in Southern California, most people are looking at 0.8. What I mean by 0.8, so 80%, right? And that's just because of Southern California. So let's just say if you wanted to wholesale it, if you want to wholesale this thing from its ARV, you can actually put that in. I think I already wrote some of this stuff down for you. Maybe I didn't. Okay, hold on. I got my calculator here. We'll have some fun with it. Fun with numbers. All right. So we're going to say we're going to do times 0.7 equals. So even at 0.7, I could turn around and say, look, I'm going to sell at 70 cents on the dollar for this thing. That's $840,000. So I could turn around and say, I have gotten this property under contract at $720,000. I'm going to put that contract into escrow. I'm going to do an ABBC transaction, and I'm going to sell this property to an investor at $840,000. $840,000. So if I got it 720, 30, 40, that's $120,000 that's available there for a wholesale on that property. That's smoking. If you do it right, you sit there and talk to the person that you're going to wholesale it to and say, look, I would like to represent you on the sale of that property as well. So now not only are you going to get $120,000 in a wholesale fee, which is great, in 10 days. Now you get to list that property at $1.2 million down the road. So lots of angles here, lots of stuff. I just thought this would be kind of like a nice little exercise in numbers for you guys. And I'm telling you, I have a strong feeling in the future with where the market is going. We're going to be talking a lot more about this kind of stuff. If you look back at my old videos before we went into a crazy market, I love stable markets because in a stable market, this is more normal than not. And the reason why I like to teach it, you have to understand. Some people will look at it like, oh, we're taking advantage of a client. No, look, I deeply believe my job, my fiduciary duty, and this is what we teach our agents. Fiduciary duty is to your client. You have to understand everybody's going to be in a different situation, especially when you talk about older people, especially when you start talking about properties that have been neglected, heavily neglected. Okay, these really tough properties. Sometimes going on the market isn't what's best for the client. It's not what they want. That's why so many people do like selling their homes in cash to a wholesaler or an investor. It's because it takes away all the stress, takes away all the pain, and it gets them what they want as fast as possible. Not everybody wants all the equity. They don't. They don't want to go through the pain of it. Some people are house rich but cash poor. So they can't afford to go out there and do the remodel in order to get what they want. So if you can find a way to help them and give them multiple options because you're an educated agent, that means you're doing right by your client. You're not taking advantage of them. The way you take advantage of them is if you're sitting there and in your heart you're like, I think I'm screwing this person, then you're probably screwing that person. But if you really look at it like, you know what, like in this situation, this is helping the person. The person has to get out there, and it's as is condition. It would still take 30 plus days. You figure they're probably 2 weeks out, so you're looking at, roughly a month and a half before they get their money, and it's not even guaranteed that they're going to make the $690,000. It's not guaranteed they're going to make the $690,000 because if it's in that bad a shape, I told you how bad a shape it's in. It's worth ARV 1.2 million. That means people are going to be coming in there, investors are going to end up buying it anyways, and they're going to be beating that person up. And who knows, it might drive up, but you're looking at roughly 690,000. If you can give them something that's going to get them closed out in 10 days and it gets them down the road and it brings them joy, why not? Anyways, it's my thoughts. I hope this one helps you out in some ways. I'm going to make sure that my buddy knows I'm posting this up. I'll be posting up tomorrow so that way you can watch it. All right, so I got. Talk to y'all later.